So we've been focusing a lot on trust and transitional housing. And in this series, we've touched on so many different topics. And in this last episode, I want to shift it to how your transitional housing facility feeds your family legacy, and then how we build your family legacy with trust. So let's dive right in. So, as a disclaimer, I'm going to say the information I'm sharing with you is for informational purposes only. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm simply someone offering information from my experience to share with you. And I encourage you to touch base with a professional to get more information on legal and financial matters related to your situation. So as we get into this, because once again, I talk transitional housing, but that's not the only thing I do. I do several things. But as I got into this space talking about trust, I realized the opportunities that it opened up to me beyond transitional housing. It starts with that, but it doesn't end with it. So as you think about getting into building wealth for your family, you have to think of every aspect that can feed into this. It started with one thing, but it grows into multiple. So where the transitional housing, we really spent and created a model that was powerful, where we utilize our trust to be able to really maximize how it moved and how it grew. So now we've expanded that to now that our structure is in place, things are so much simpler. The paperwork is easier. We follow everything properly, legally, and lawfully, making sure we do everything easy, but it's like seamless. It's like we operate like Neo in the Matrix. Like things are like, oh, wow. And you've heard me probably say my structure was crazy stupid before I found this. Like I had like 5 different corporations feeding another LLC. Like I had all these LLCs feeding then this corporation. Like it was chaos, and trying to figure out how to juggle all of that stuff, not just properties, but businesses and assets and all this stuff. This major, crazy, stupid structure. And then imagine if my structure was that crazy, what else was crazy? My accounting. I had accounts upon accounts upon accounts. Like it was crazy mad. So I'm saying all that to say, when you get into this world, it is so seamless. It is, I don't even want to say the word easy, but it is. It moves so seamlessly and easy. Now, as I say, it's a work in progress. I just got into this space and learned how to move in it, but I'm like, man, I was here like crazy stupid up here, dealing with paperwork, dealing with all the craziness, the taxes. It was just like, I was crazy. And then here I'm like, oh wow, fill out that, fill out that, fill out that, and we're done. Like it's easy. So I say that, I'm going to keep it right there. If you want to know more information, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I know how to operate. I'm managing mine, and that I can point you to the direction of someone who can help you in this space too, because clearly it's like night and day. And I love moving in this space legally and lawfully, doing everything I'm supposed to do, and I'm mitigating and minimizing and reducing all of my taxes, as well as being able to give back. So now that you understand the importance of having that structure, I want to say now you can build on what you can do with your family. And I'm building a legacy that not only will my son benefit from, but my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren. Like I'm truly building a family legacy. And if that's what you're wanting, then you're going to want to listen to the very end of this video, because we're going to jump right in. I want to be able to have you understand this is more than money that we're talking about. We're talking about being able to pass on your values, pass on wealth, pass on knowledge that typically is not out there for everyone to know. And that's the type of stuff that we are building on as a family. And when you can do that, you get all of that information and then you share that with your family, then you're getting into a space where you are not only preparing that next generation. Like if you would talk to my son, he understands his role. If you want to go touch base on, you're welcome to just tap his ear. But he understands what we're building. Not only he, my niece, my great niece, like this is the information we pass on to them so they understand what my wishes are as we passed it on to the trust. And then now they operate and move in that space. And that's the exciting part about what we're able to do. And I know that as I do that, it's not going to disappear in 1 or 2 generations. It's going to go on and on and on. That's what we're going to spend. And we regularly meet as a family because we want to build and have everyone understand what we've built. And it's not complicated. It's so easy. And I love the way in which we do, but the trust truly is creating a structure that is solid with the assets that we have that is bigger than just the transitional housing, but all the other things that we do, from the businesses that we have, the trainings that we offer, the other businesses that we run, the different assets that we have that we've put in here. That's all for growing where we're going, and it's more than money. So as we're passing that down and what we believe in, it's information that I know that over the years it's going to be passed down to my seed, and they'll be prospering not just financially but also in their mind as what they are doing and how they are growing. So now, as you can look at a trust and understanding how it operates, knowing that whenever I pass on, I don't have to worry about anything going to probate. I don't have to worry about anyone coming after any assets. I don't have to worry about anything. We've got it fully protected. So the role of the trust in preserving what it is that I'm creating is critical, because now it operates as the trust. It doesn't operate as Tony. It's the trust. It's the mission of the trust. It's for the benefits of those who are in the trust. That is what we've structured, and it's all private. When you're able to do that, you are shielding your assets and all the things that you hold true so that you can continue to preserve what it is that you're creating. Now, as I mentioned, you've heard me mention multiple times before, there are several types of trusts. I always sort of like to just generalize it because I can't name them all. I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do know the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable. And I do know in a revocable, you are more at risk of your assets being attacked, especially if a lawsuit hits you. So when you think about those things, I love gravitating to the other. Now, to each his own, do your own research, but I guarantee you, if you want the benefits I'm talking about, you might want to put some comments down below so that I can share some information with you and connect you to the people I know who taught this to me. And I trust the people who've taught it to me. And I'm just going to say this, and no, and I'm not throwing anything at anybody else, but I've been in business for 15 years. And in the 15 years that I have been in business, it took me literally the last two to figure out what I didn't have and to get aligned with what I needed to have. And it was like a godsend. So, not throwing shade on anybody who gave me misinformation in the past, but all of them told me to set up a certain way, and every last one of them were wrong. WRONG, wrong. And it was complicated. So, which would you prefer? Would you prefer to have something complicated, or would you rather have something that's simple and easy to follow and you're doing everything legally and lawfully? Like, that is how I like to move. So, it's only been the last 2 years that I've been structured right. And any business that is successful has to have a very strong financial and legal structure. And I have that now, finally. After 13 years of being in business, I got it my last 2 years. And ever since then, I'm like, wow, this is like, I love it. And I could share more with you on how much I love about it. But feel free to ask me questions in the comments, or book some time with me. I would love to be able to share it with you, because this here has been a journey. Lessons learned, I could definitely share them with you. But those lessons cost me dearly. But guess what? The amount of money that I spent the last 13 years trying to fix it, is worth it to where I am today, because these last 2 years, game changer, game changer. So I'll stop on that note, and I want to push through making sure that you understand basically how to, just going to guide you down setting up the things that you want for your family. Because as you think about your goals and making sure you're communicating those goals, you want to make sure you're passing down everything that you want for your family. So, like I said, I've got my businesses in here. I've got the properties. We've got, and it's several series. It's not one, so I don't think it's just one trust. No, it's not. It's a series of trusts that we utilize to be able to make things move smoothly, and we make sure that everything is protected. So after you do that, you'll make sure you're structured right in the right type of trust so that it does benefit you. You're going to go through a name still the same way, your trustees and your successor trustees, and then you're going to fund it. Like that is the typical process for setting things up, and then you're going to want to create what legacy looks like for you. This is a private document that you will only be sharing with your family. Nobody else is privy to it. So as you share that information, you grow that and build that. And you want to, most importantly, after all this is set up, if you don't take the time to educate your family on what you have, you are doing a disservice to the legacy you're trying to create. So I want to encourage you that as you move through this space, that you take the time to educate your family on what it is that you're building. I will say this: we meet regularly as a family. My goal, if I had it perfect, I'd meet every month, but you don't have to meet that much. But we meet at least once a year, maybe 2 to 3 times a year, talking about what's here. And we're probably doing this only because we're just now building it, growing it. I'm making sure that the people involved they understand what it is that's being built, and on a regular basis we communicate. And during those times, the trust makes sure all those things are taken care of for our family so that we can continue to educate our family on what's building. But this is the best part: as we grow and we build, the things that the trust builds through our foundation, we then get to give back. We get to give back to those people that we choose to give back to. And that is the most amazing experience, to know that not only are you impacting your family, but you are impacting others through what you're building. And that's what it's all about. It's helping other people. That's why you hear so many people who have foundations. Now, having the right type of foundation is critical as too. Go ahead and give me some comments below if you don't understand what I'm talking about, or you want to understand what I'm talking about. Because you have people who've got foundations, but are they properly identified as the right type of foundation to have? So much information, but it's so exciting to learn. But I want to make sure that whatever you create for your family, that you are educating your family in that space as well. So some of the things you're going to want to stay away from, some common mistakes that I've seen families fall into, you heard me allude to, is that they don't teach and share the information with their family. So, like, what's the point? You got to be able to educate them on the knowledge you're trying to pass down to them. So, being diligent and documenting everything that you've set forth to share with your family is critical to that family structure you're building to be solid, and making sure that you're planning. You do not want to fail to plan, because if you fail to plan, you've planned to fail. So I always say that as well. And then you're going to want to make sure, like I said, that you choose the right person to work with you, and who is going to be either working with you on the trust or working as a successor trustee, because those are critical to moving you forward and preserving what it is that you're wanting to create. So, as I said, this is more than money. It's more than even the knowledge. It's the impact that you're going to make on people when you build this out right. And once you have your family mission statement in place and how you're going to move forward, that is what's going to transform lives. So, as you think about building your generational wealth, I want you to consider reaching out to me so that I can give you these nuggets on a personal level and share with you how we were able to do it and show you how to do the same. So get out here and transform your life, because as you transform your life, you will be transforming the world. And so it is.